So the role of mayor is an interesting one in our system of governance, where we have a city manager and a mayor, but the mayor doesn't actually vote on legislative issues unless you're casting a tiebreaker. So how do each of you conceive of your job as mayor, the most important things in that job, and how would you essentially go about setting legislative priorities and what are the limitations of that?
To me, there's really two fundamental parts of the job as mayor. One is the chair of the city council, and one is the kind of public-facing leader. And as chair of the city council, the mayor has a critical role in setting literal agendas and also kind of the big picture agenda of where are we going as a city, what are our priorities. And I'm proud of both the priorities that I've set, but also the way in which I've laid out, first during my first campaign, detailed plans, a lot of thought specifics. Hey, here's what I believe in. If you like it, vote for me. If you don't, don't. And then during the course of these last 4 years, I've been clear and specific and taken positions and supported ideas and tried to be an advocate for things that I felt were important. So I've been out there and clear and transparent about what I believe in and why I believe that it's good for the city of Evanston. So that piece of it, setting a direction and a vision for what happens in the city council chambers on Monday evenings, in collaboration with the community, with the city council, with the staff, that's one piece of the job. And the other piece of the job is you are a public-facing leader of the community, and that means many things. It means listening to everybody. It means hearing from everybody. It means spending a lot of time in direct conversation with residents with every different type of opinion in every different corner of the community. It means working with all kinds of stakeholders, whether those are nonprofits or advocates or activists or businesses or other government entities. It means being a person who is called in the most difficult moments, whether those are tragedies of violence or times of fear like our immigrant communities and our LGBT communities are feeling right now. And it means acting as somebody who can take all of those different stakeholders together and enable us to continue moving forward, to keep us acting, to not make it the case that because of the complexity of this town and the tensions and the different voices that we just wind up stuck. Because in this moment, we can't afford to be stuck. In this moment, we can't afford not to act. It's not only because of the nightmare coming at us from Washington, it's because on things like affordable housing, not moving is moving backwards because the trajectory is not on our side. So putting all of that together and keeping the city moving forward in pursuit of our goals and values and policy agendas, I think, is a pivotal role that really only the mayor can serve.
When I decided to run, one of the first things I did was talk to former Mayor Haggerty, and I think that he had some frustration in that the form of government we have is weak mayor, strong city manager, and he lamented that a lot of what he could do was only influence things, that he had to spend a lot of his time cajoling and trying to move things around. I bet he's a little envious of how you've taken on the role of mayor, though, and sort of just rather inverted the process here of being a strong mayor and having a very weak city manager as well. I think that when I compared my corporate work as a middle manager, and middle managers, if any of you have filled that role, don't have a lot of power. They have to use a lot of influence all the time. So I'm used to working in 360 degrees. I have people who reported to me, I had to deal with them. Colleagues, I had to deal with them. People in other departments had to deal with them, and then of course executives and that. And there is some, a city, of course, is not a corporation, but there is some mirroring of sort of the CEO as mayor, the board of directors as the city council, and the city manager as rather CEO. You should be head of the board rather. So I think there is some mirroring of that, and so I would try to use those skills that I have to influence and return us to our chartered form of government, which is weak mayor and strong city manager. And I would hold city managers still accountable, first of all, for filling that role, number one. In terms of setting the agenda, though, I like what you said, that it's about the residents. And so listening to the residents is what should set the agenda, what's important, what's on their mind, and putting that forward. And I think finally, though, the foremost thing, though, is to be consistent in that and know when that you're going to listen and apply all the time what you're hearing so that you can serve, and I will serve, as the voice of residents on the city council as well, that kind of final filter for them, and hold the city council itself accountable for that, I think, in the future. Thank you.